people-centered leadership is just like a business-centered leadership, but there is a marked distinction between the two of them. In business leadership, business-centered leadership, we tell people what to do so that we get the results done and eventually translates into success in our organization. On the other hand, when you're a people-centered leader, you don't tell your people what to do. You ask your employees, what do you need in order for you to succeed? There's a marked difference between these two. So it means that you really put people, you put your employees in the core of your business. They get the results that you want. They make things happen.
Welcome to the Leaders Edge. Today, our guest is an immediate past president of PMAP, People Management Association of the Philippines, and currently she is the vice president of the Human Resources and Administrative Services of FJE Group of Companies. Our guest speaker holds a bachelor's degree in management and industrial engineering from the Mapua Institute of Technology and postgraduate studies in human resource management at the University of Santo Tomas. Today, I welcome to our virtual stage our speaker who will talk about people-centered leadership versus the usual business leadership model only. And I know we're all excited to listen to her. Welcome, Ellen Fullido.
Hi, good afternoon, Miss Dina, and good afternoon to all your viewers and followers. My name is Ellen Fullido. As Miss Dina said, I'm the immediate past president of the People Management Association of the Philippines. Currently, I'm working as the vice president for Human Resource and Administrative Services of the FJE Group, more commonly known for its flagship company, the Manila Broadcasting Company. So MBC is the largest network, not only in the country, but in Asia as well. We're turning 84 years old this year. We're also known for our FM brands, Love Radio, Yes the Best, Easy Rock. And nationwide, we have Action Radio and Radio Natin Station, about 120 of them, making us the largest. We're also known for our sister company, Star City. And recently, MBC embarked also on the hotels and restaurant business. So we own the mall in Boracay, the Palenque, and of course our own Feliz Hotel, managed by Anderan. By the way, I'm not just your usual HR practitioner in the company, but I'm also an associate, a partner in one of our management group. Actually, it's the core management group of the entire Elizalde company. So we're managing the businesses. So I'm part of that. I joined them like more than decades ago as the youngest officer and the lone female in the group. So there you have it.
All right.
I've been with PMAP pala. Been active in PMAP since the early 2000.
Right. And you have come a long way, Ellen. I remember the days when we served as trustees together.
Yes.
And it was really so, I tell you that I never forgot the fun-loving ways that you have, and you made sure that all the trustees had fun by bringing us to Star City and right and all that.
Well, because it's our business. We're into media, we're into entertainment, and somehow the nature and the culture in the organization really permeates. What really permeates is a happy environment. It's very informal. We talk to our bosses like we talk to our colleagues. We address our problems with a lot of sense of humor, but we're kind of serious with the way we do things. But I think injecting humor in our operations really helps a lot because we're having fun, we're enjoying what we do, but yet we're serious about getting the results that we want.
Just curious, Ellen,
Yes, ma'am.
when did your company and you as a leader start really focusing on people-centered leadership?
Um, Actually, it's by default. I guess the Elizaldes have this innate human nature in them already. Uh, when I joined the organization, they have this caring attitude about people, especially at the rank and file level. Probably because it stemmed from the fact that there have been illnesses in the family, there have been some tragic moments, and that's the reason why even Mr. Fred started a foundation, especially for children with liver problems. So I guess it's been there for a long while already. Not to mention that the boss himself, the chairman, is also a human resource practitioner. He's a sociology graduate from Harvard University, magna cum laude. And I recall before the fire, because we were hit by the fire in 2019, I recall keeping his journals, his studies, the organization scan that he made, and his articles about people. So it's been there, and somehow we've continued that legacy. In fact, when he found out that I became the president of PMAP, and he said, and I just said, I'm just continuing your legacy of, putting people in the core. We started being a member of PMAP in 1962. And for everybody's information, it was Mr. Fred Elizalde who founded, and he became the first, he became the founding president of the Employers Confederation of the Philippines. Um, Maybe not everybody knows about this. He was once also a member of the Batasang Pambansa, being a sugar magnate during that time. I think it was the 70s and the 80s. So when you ask that question, when did your organization start being people-centered? Continuing it, but enhancing it and continually improving on it so that we really get the desired results through people.
All right. So, Ellen, a lot of corporations experience what we call an exodus during the pandemic. A lot of people did not, experiencing this, the what we call the difficulty of getting
The
people
great,
back to the office. And how is it after the pandemic?
uh, no, not at all. We're still in the pandemic right now. More than 3 years ago, if you remember, Josh Persin started talking about power skills, and that during the pandemic, this was really highlighted. The wisdom of what he was talking about, because the major advances in technology have been very helpful during at the onset of the pandemic, but we have all noted that the gap between intent and execution is kind of glaring. And this is because of the shortage in certain skills. For example, during the pandemic, we all had the tools for virtual collaboration, but we forgot that the virtual collaboration is that not the same as the physical physical collaboration. And therefore, when we say power skills, these are soft skills that would enable people to continue doing their jobs. Fortunately for our for it, we're really driven by technology. Being in the broadcast industry, we thrive in technology. And more than a decade ago, we already embraced the digital transformation. And because of that, it has enabled us to transition from what we used to do using technology. In fact, the first order of was to send people. Around 80% of our employees were sent home, except for us. Like I was tasked to broadcast industry, we need to keep our core employees, meaning the ones in operation, reporters, anchors, because these are the people who would gather the news and deliver them to our audience, not only nationwide, but we're streaming worldwide. So using the technology, we're seen and heard nationwide and worldwide. So when it happened, did we have the tools? Some of us would have laptop computers, but what we did was to send even the desktop computers so that people can access them. Fortunately for our organization, we have a system called WinMedia. So it's from the beginning of the pipeline until the end of the pipeline because we advertise, we air commercials, we air music, we air public service announcements, etc., and what have you about media. And because of this system, which can be we have something in it that we call system viewer, remote viewer, so that we can monitor and track what's going on in the operations, even on remote place. In 2018, when the Telecommuting Act was signed into law, and then in March 2019, the implementing rules and regulations were issued by the Department of Labor and Employment. I was the first to say, I don't believe in it. It cannot happen to us because we're into media, we're into broadcast. How can you allow people to go telecommuting simply because we're addressing the issue of heavy traffic in the metro? Because our the business that we're into requires physical presence. But during the pandemic, I was the first to say it can be done. It can be done if you have the tools. So we really establish a hub for those who will be the 20% who are supposed to take care of our operations physically. So we provided them with places to sleep, uh, logistics, food, food allowances, even hazard pay for workers. And for those who are working from home, we even extended the connectivity allowance for them, sometimes even electricity. You know what we did from the management level, just so we can continue operations? We were like operating only with 45% sales. Can you beat that? Not even 50. But we've already budgeted initially for 1 month. But just so we can still continue, we came up with a flexible work arrangement where people will continue to receive their salaries based on the number of hours they put in on a per week basis. So you have like those who cannot really work, not performing anything. Like if you're a janitor, utility messenger, you cannot work from home, right? And you're not allowed to go to the office, people, especially for media. If you don't have an RFID issued by the government, by the PIO, then you cannot just, apply, go out into the streets and go back to work. They cannot perform work even if they wanted to. We're given 50% salary. They're not working. But just so we can help them, it's a show of concern and malasakit for our employees because we know that they needed to survive, not just to survive, but to thrive. So we have to come up with a lot of devices. Now, the question is, how do we how do you measure performance for those who are working from home? I had to come up with a simple plan of, coming up with a form called KPO, key performance output, where employees just have to list down the tasks they do on a per day basis and the expected output. And then this KPO eventually became our basis for performance appraisal as required by our auditing firm. Because you have to really simplify, be innovative, you have to come up with ways and means in order to address issues, especially it's been an issue even at the onset of the implementation of the Telecommuting Act. How do you measure performance? I guess we've come up with a simpler device of monitoring it and seeing how our employees perform. The difficulty is that some employees have experienced really mental anguish. They have anxieties, depression, especially if they're, confined in the four corners of their homes, especially those who don't have a room. Virtual platform were there for them. We started um, it's an activity that HR started, but it has mushroomed all over the organization. We spearheaded a kamustahan where employees don't talk about what they're doing, and it's fun because but you're being there even in the virtual platform makes them feel that they still belong, and it gives them an assurance that we look after their welfare and people not wanting to go back. We've agreed because we were hit by the fire, and at the onset of the pandemic we were occupying a transient building at the CCP. It's only last year uh, MBC and Star City started operating March last year. What we did and what management agreed on is that we will still continue doing work hybrid mode, meaning to say that aside from operations, when we say operations, this is the radio operations, the broadcasting, all other service groups can continue doing hybrid, meaning they can work from home, say 3 times or 2 times a week, and then report for work, say several days in a week. And we really didn't have problems with that because we've realized that we can still get results even if they work hybrid. Again, we thank the technology for allowing us to do and at the same time, and more importantly, it's our way of showing our employees that we care about them. We know that the prices of fuel, cost of transportation, the perennial heavy traffic, which has gone back to pre-pandemic mode, has causing a lot of difficulties, especially to our employees. Allowing them to still work from home on several days for a week is a way of showing them that they can save on money, that they can still working and taking care of families. We have models already that for continue allowing our employees to work hybrid.
Wow. Uh, that is amazing. Now, as with most companies, and I have come to know this, discover this large corporation, they practically all corporations experience a financial hit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was saying 45%. Can you beat that?
right. And a lot of corporations were forced to make what we call emergency bank loans just to keep on operating. I don't know about your company. Did you go through some kind of financial strain, or you were able to just go by
Well,
with whatever resources you have?
it will take us like a lot of hours we have in the organization, but
Oh,
basically it's getting a share on the national sales. So the marketing group is a separate company. The FM group is a separate company. Design DZRH, ECRAC are under MBC, and the management group where I belong, which I'm an associate, Manila Broadcasting Company, all affiliate companies getting our share of the income from the national sales. Meaning when you say national sales, these are brands that are being aired, commercials that are being aired, campaigns being aired in different countries. So you talk about big brands like San Miguel, Nestle, our Employer of the Year, and etc. etc. But as to the question of uh, did we make a loan? Did we get financial assistance? More or less, we have a trust fund. We have money on the bank. But of course, during the time when the pandemic hit us, Star City is just beginning to prepare for a reconstruction because we incurred losses. We had to shut down operations because it was really down to the ground. Even MBC. So we're really survivors in that sense because from the fire to the pandemic, we were there and we were up and about. The what's unusual about this is that after we were hit by the fire, we were hitting more than what we have targeted. And during the pandemic, it went down to us, as low as 45%. We were not making sales. We were not making sales. Again, the president wrote a letter, a personal letter to the employees saying that we will take care of you. We have provided for we only provided for a month's salary, but to address the issue of how do we make both ends meet, literally. Of course, aside from coming up with a scheme based on the number of hours worked by employees, so you have your like 50, you have 65, 75, and 100% for those working on site. We also have to come up with measures of saving also on expenses. It follows the logical solution that if you don't have income, then you cut down on your costs. So we had to cut down on power. We had to um, cut down on overtime. People cannot work overtime because they're working from home anyway, except for those in the operations. When and where needed, we really have to. And then also, we used to give a monthly performance bonus. We had to stop that for a while because it's anchored on sales. So it's highly contingent on the amount of sales that we make and our achievement of our quota per month. So those expenses that were cut really gave us savings to tide the difficult times. We did not let go of any employee. We did not retrench. We just have to slow down on some of our expenses. And in 2021, by stroke of luck, some of the big brands, advertisers were up and about. We have an all-time record of not only recovering from the 45% slump, we were we were making more than the target set on the previous years. So we kind of recovered from that. We did not really make bank loans or what have you. We were able to push through and operate the way we were operating pre-pandemic, and we were making more. Of course, after that, a lot of the advertisers had to cut down on their costs, and eventually, it also affected us. But we're doing good. We're doing
So
good.
how about Star City? I asked about Star City
Oh, you wanna ride the
because
carousel again?
because we had so many moments of fun there.
Yeah.
Fully operational, and are you getting more customers in there?
I would say that when we started operating last year, we were just operating on weekends. So it's more of like Thursdays to Sundays. So the first time we opened the park, I just had to go around because I was checking on where to go to, where to exit, coming from MBC building, because my boss was complaining about closing the back door and not getting an access towards the park. Eventually, I started posting it because taking photos, and it was really teeming with people. I mean, not all of the stores are occupied. Not all of them were open as we had before, but people are coming in. We really had to do pricing that would generate back our investments. No, we were able to get something from the insurance because we won the case. But it may not be enough. It will take quite a while for us to fully recover. But we had our Thanksgiving party this Monday, just this week, and as I was talking to some of the officers, um, I think we went beyond already about breaking even. So we're operating again on a weekend basis, but this time it's 12 to 10. I think it's 2 to 10 p.m. And we're getting a lot of sculptors already. So they're back. So we know we're back. And even if there are other amusement parks or places where people can go as a family, especially during Christmas, we know that we've been an institution already, and that we're a happy place to be. That's why when I posted, Star City is still the happiest place for the family, and not only for the family but friends. You don't go to Star City by yourself. You go to the park together with your friends, together with your family, because it's all about having fun, enjoying it, and enjoying it with your loved ones and the people you care about. So we're up and about, and we hope that this will continue. During summers, we're still open. We're still open, and people can still go there, and enjoy. I think it's the thrill of going through this ride. What makes us different? Like, even if there are, especially during Christmas, there are a lot of rides, amusement parks coming in, mga perya or some sort. The difference is we're internationally accredited. We're a member of IAPA, International Association of Amusement Parks. We're also an active member in the Asia Pacific. So that can be an assurance, that gives you an assurance that when you go to our theme park, your safety is our priority. It's foremost in our priority, and that when we operate with care. We operate the people, the safety and wellness of the people who come into the park should be taken care of by not only
All had fun there. So thank you so
yeah,
much
I
for that.
raffled off tickets during the conference.
Right. Now, I took note of what say the same. You mentioned you did not lay off a single employee.
Yes.
Imagine that. And so far, all right, and as you rightfully have a natural immunity because of the high people, or you plan to add in the future?
Oh, by the way, I mentioned earlier about us embracing digital transformation. Initially, when we said that we're going to adopt digital technology, we've used digital technology. Again, we thrive on digital technology. It was meant to supplement. It was meant to supplement broadcast programmatic system. However, it has changed. It has become the norm. I cannot just announce yet, but soon we'll be relaunching ourselves as a digital media group, because we're not only into broadcast, we're into multimedia. In fact, we were the first FM group to adopt digital media in the way we do our programs. We've started using SOCMED, Spotify, Spotify, well, we were the first partner of Spotify because we're into music. We're known in the music industry. Um, you know, we did not lay off. We really did not. But the digital technology has really transformed us. So in fact, the question of are we adding people? Yes, we've grown in the head office alone. You know, 2 years ago during the pandemic, I was losing my digital people. They were so trained in the digital platform that they become vulnerable. They become the target of pirating. How can you counter offer an employee being pirated when the employee will be pirated or is pirated by a foreign company, doesn't
Oh.
have to report for work, okay? They'll be working from home and they're even offered twice to thrice the salaries that they're getting, and yet will be working at the comfort of their homes, right? So how can you counter that? I cannot counter offer that. I cannot afford that because you also have to look into the plight of the other employees within the organization. And the most that you can do is really create a culture. That's where that's what I'm saying. That's where the people centered leadership comes in. You cannot have all the resources to offer your employees except that culture, a caring and concerned culture about people. In fact, even one of my staff in HR resigned in 2021. I cannot, you're so madamot if you say, I no, you cannot leave because it has something to do with financial needs. Her father was like out of work also. The two sisters were still studying, and her mom is not working and was sick at that time. She eventually died. So she only had herself as a breadwinner. And so I had to let her go. But I told her, you know, I'll bet my finger that you'll be back sooner than you left. True enough, 6 months later, she's back. She's back. You know why? And even other employees from our operations group, engineers, technical people, IT, they came back. You know what they're saying? You're right, ma'am. There's nothing like working for MBC. There's nothing like about the atmosphere that we have here in the organization. My staff alone, because she's very active in the ministry of her church, and she said that the company she joined with has a different culture. And and they whatever they have there runs in contrast with her values. And so she figured that yes, I'm earning so much, but this is not aligned. But this thing is not aligned with my values. And so I'd rather have uh, a little lower salary, but I'll be happier. I'm more at peace because I know that I'm with an organization that takes care of people. And I think that makes a lot of difference.
Yes, indeed, indeed, Ellen. That makes,
Atmosphere of
yes, yes. It makes a big difference. And that also proves one thing, that people generally will not stay with the company only because of the pay, only because
yes,
of money. Yeah, there are many things to consider, especially the values, the core
yes.
values. Yes, yes. So,
While it's true, Miss Dinah, that 50% now, I guess, of our 50% of our workforce now in MBC are millennials and Gen Zs. As we all know, they have a different mindset. They are digital savvy, they are digital netizens, and so they're kind of impatient. But if you look at the other half, these are employees who've been with us on the average of like 10, 15 years. So a lot of people, there are not a lot of broadcast companies around. But the funny thing is that our technical people, our engineers, IT, the digital media employees are being pirated by the BPOs. not even the competitors in the broadcast industry. Because I think a lot of companies now have gone heavy on their digital transformation. And that's the reason why I said a lot of our employees in the digital media side have been target of pirating, because not only here but abroad. I this is not a concern only in the country, but also concern in other companies abroad, US, for example, Canada and Europe, or because uh, late in the 2020, Bloomberg coined a term called the Great Resignation. People are just going through an exodus. They wouldn't want to work. If you look at the history of the Great Resignation, people are resigning because they wouldn't want to work. In big countries like them, in powerful and rich countries like them, they can afford to, provide a lot of social service benefits to their retired employees. Uh, so they've been, advertising about job openings, and people wouldn't even want to apply for the jobs. So it became a haven for some Filipinos and some Asian employees to get into the job. So it's not a unique problem to us. It's been an experience worldwide. I guess a lot of it came from the pandemic. People are concerned about their safety. They wouldn't want to go out. They wouldn't want to expose themselves. And therefore, since I get a lot of benefits from social welfare, might as well avail of that and just stay at home. I'll still be eating twice, thrice a day, and not even go hungry because the government will provide for it. Even if I lost people, we've recovered them, and we're adding some more. In fact, in my report yesterday during the MANCO meeting, I still have vacancies of about 16 positions. 16 positions, about 60% of them are in the IT engineering and new media groups. We need around 22 people to fill up the vacancy. So we've expanded already, and it has something to do with our transformation from the terrestrial broadcast to the digital media platform.
Well, congratulations, because actually what I know is only the what we call the rich resource resource rich corporations can afford to go AI. Really, because it needs a lot of resources. So congratulations that you're
Um,
able to do that. That is so
we have to,
yeah.
ma'am,
Yeah.
because if you look at the way media works in our country over the last decade or so, uh, we've known magazines, we've known publications, and they just died natural deaths,
Yes.
right? While we've tuned into TVs, radio is predicted to be gone
Mm.
soon.
Yes.
But the only way to survive and to thrive, given the scenario now, because of the advanced technology, I would always say that technology changes more often than you change your clothes. and and because of that, you really have to be adept. You really have to ride the waves of change. Otherwise, you'll die a natural death. And again, as I said, more than a decade ago, we've embraced already the digital technology. We're transforming. We're investing. We're investing. In fact,
Yes.
training alone of our marketing group, just so they become familiarized, and they do actual digital selling. We have digital sales. We have reorganized ourselves. We've created an integrated media marketing group. We have a digital sales group apart from our regular sales, events, and promos. We really don't, well, it's expensive, yes.
Yes. Yes.
As you said, if you don't have the money for it, then there you go. But to us, we really don't look at it as an expense. We really look at it, we treat it as an investment, which we hope eventually would give us an ROI, a return on investment, because that's the only way to go. That's
Yes.
the
And
only way to go.
Indeed, indeed, I agree with you. And by the way, to our audience out there, they are learning lessons from here because, by the way, even if you have all the resources in the world, if your corporate values are not people centered, well, you will not be able to hold much longer. I mean, you cannot hold on to your people for too long because people somehow seek ways to also some align their personal values to the corporate values. And if they notice that the corporation, the company, are only after the dollar signs, the peso signs, and not after them, their own values, and they don't feel what we call cared for, they may not stay very long. So thank you for sharing that. And by the way, before we say goodbye, do you have coming events or that you would like our viewers to know in advance?
Yes, Miss Dina. But before I go into the upcoming events, especially in PMAP, let me just share this to our audience. Um, people-centered leadership is just like a business-centered leadership, but there is a marked distinction between the two of them. In business leadership, business-centered leadership, we tell people what to do so that we get the results done and eventually translates into success in our organization. The- On the other hand, when you're a people-centered leader, you don't tell your people what to do. You ask your employees, what do you need in order for you to succeed? There's a marked difference between these two. So it means that you really put people, you put your employees in the core of your business. They get the results that you want. They make things happen. So therefore, it's more of like giving them the power skills, the adaptability to make execution a lot easier. So we need to refocus our efforts to make sure that they develop these power skills among them because competencies are okay, but they have to focus on the capabilities of people. These are preferred now. Competencies are the skills that you need to get the job done today. And these are the attributes not only to get the job done today, but tomorrow in any situation. Again, as I said, this has to be portable wherever employees go, whether they're working on site or working from home or telecommuting, they bring these skills with them. And what's more, when you're a people-centered leader, you promote joy and happiness at the workplace. And I think that's the most important thing. You don't achieve prosperity in your organization unless you really take care of your people and put them as priority, put their health, wellness, and safety foremost in your priorities. So
Yes,
that's
yes,
my parting words for
indeed.
you. And
Yeah, yeah. And Ellen, no, this is so important because I noticed you mentioned that you were given more responsibilities, and in fact you have a higher position in the company, and you sit on the board, and oh my gosh. Now, this this I really want to hear this. How did you manage to do all the daily work that you had to devote time and effort to for being president of PMAT at the same time do all this additional work for your company and what they have given you? They've given you so much more work to do, and yet here you are. I saw for myself how devoted, and you never missed a bit. You were always in every PMAP event. How did you manage that? Where did you get all that?
honestly, Miss Dinah, again, I said, bahala na si Batman. That's the first thing I said. Uh, I said, Lord, please be with me. Take my hand. I'll walk with you. Lead
All
me.
right. Yeah.
That's first.
Yeah.
Uh, it's about doing things not because you have to do them. Because if that's the mindset you have, chances are you'll get tired. There is fatigue. There would be fatigue. You will be exhausted. I recall last year during this period, I would still be up until 3 a.m. I'm writing my articles for the PMAP magazine. I will be doing my homework because I have a talk early in the morning. I'll be probably in every week I have either an interview, a talk, or I have to attend an induction or just be there. How did I manage to do that? It transcends, the fact that you just don't do it. You have the heart. You have to have the heart to do it. You find meaning in what you do, because if you don't find meaning in what you do, you wouldn't be able to do it with a lot of zest and energy. That drives me. That really drives me. And even after a long meeting, a hard day's work, very stressful day, if I have the time, I still run 3 times a week. I would
Wow.
run 3 to 5 kilometers, even on nighttime, because that's my outlet. It gives me a sense of freedom when I run alone. It makes you breathe. It really, you expel all the bad energies when you run. So I guess it's a combination of faith and dedication, that commitment to really serve, because you wouldn't have accepted the post anyway if you're not serious about it, if you're not committed to doing things and making things happen for PMAP. And I guess we were able to pull through. We were able to accomplish a lot during the 1 year period. The 1 year is not enough, but um, my prayer is that I hope I pave the way for the next leadership to continue and even continue improving in the way we do things in PMAP. I guess somehow I disrupted the way things are being done in PMAP, because I'm not your usual leader who just, I would go out of my way and find ways and means, even break bones and rub elbows, just so I find something that is of value to the organization. So I guess I thrive on cramming. I thrive on stressful situation. I guess I'm more creative when I'm pushed to the wall.
Yes. Congratulations, because somehow you were able to show by your example that it can be done with the
Yes.
right attitude, right?
That you're right. It has something to do with the mindset.
Yeah, yeah,
It has something to do with attitude.
right. Well, also you mentioned from the heart and the spirit. So thank you so much, and I'm sure you do have some last words of encouragement for our viewers and announcements to make. Go ahead.
We will be having our next GMM come February 2023. Of course, we're doing it hybrid now, but we'll be having a face-to-face GMMs every quarter. So the next one after January will be in April, and then July, and then September. We're going to have an integrated regional summits together with our annual conference. We also have the Tower Awards. This is in recognition of the outstanding workers and in the country. So please, if you have workers who made a lot of big difference, significant changes in your organization that would, save you a lot of money, please nominate them. We're partners with the Rotary Club of Manila. It's about time that we give due recognition to our silent workers. They're working with their simple innovation, but it's saving us a lot of money. Then please do nominate them. Get in touch with any one of our staff in PMAP. Aside from the regular monthly GMMs, we also have researches. We're embarking already on the 2023 wage and benefits, salaries and benefits survey. We're also doing our hackathon. Our media group will be having our people manager on camp this February. We also have Makatao Awards, of course, the highly prestigious PMAP Awards. We're launching it already this February. And so if you believe that you have an HR professional who can be a candidate for the people manager of the year. Of course, if you have people programs that are worthy of recognition, please nominate them. And of course, if you believe your organization is worthy of earning the most coveted award, the Employer of the Year award, please nominate them. So we welcome all of this. Of course, we're doing a lot of studies now in labor. We're supposed to come up with our project of introducing already amendments in the labor code through the LPRIR committee, which I belong also. Of course, media committee will have our Makatao Awards again to give due recognition to our media partners who have done exemplary works that espouse the Makatao spirit in the way we do things in media and broadcast. So there you have it. I those are a handful, but
Right, right.
there are a lot more.
Thank you so much, Ellen. And to our viewers out there, watch out for our next episode. And that's from Australia, Annelie Blundell on gender equality and turning obstacles into opportunities for women. And of course, everybody click like and subscribe to our Leaders Ed's YouTube channel by SEASTBI. And remember, learning is a never-ending journey with limitless vistas. Thank you again, Ellen.